So here we have an Xbox controller. As you can see on the screen, that's me moving this. And then I can left click with A, and then I can, yes, right click with X. So of course, we're going to play Mortal Empires. I've been thinking a lot about the faction I want to play. You know, I want to play someone where in battle I don't really have to, you know, do too much micro, because good God, it's horrible using micro for me in normal circumstances, but using micro for me with the control, that's just too much. So I thought a lot about it. You know, I could play the Skaven. You know, they're really easy. You can just use all the artillery, Vampire Coast. But what faction can I literally just turtle as and do nothing else? I'm playing the Dwarves, okay? I'm going to play the Dwarves. I'm not going to play Carrick Cadrin because, you know, Slayers are crap. I'm not going to play Belgar Ironham because that's impossible. I'm going to be playing as the one, the only Grombrindle because he is an epic gamer. Hello? Okay, so, you know, as a YouTuber, we're always looking for that next big thing, you know, the next big video. And one of the things that I personally do is look at videos that are in other genres of games. So, like, you know, for example, there is this genre that goes around, or this type of video that goes around that is playing X game with X controller. You know, people have done this for games like Dead by Daylight. They've done this for things, you know, like Flight Simulator, playing that with all sorts of weird things. Like some guys, they've completed Mario on a speedrun by using like a couple of potatoes and some mangoes and like just slapping the shit out of the vegetables. So I thought, why not do the same thing for Warhammer 2? So you see this guy right here? This guy and this guy, they're different people, you know, different stages of time. It's been a couple of weeks since then. And yeah, we're different people. This guy right here, he thinks he's onto a million view idea. He thinks he's found the next Charlie Bit My Finger. Let me just tell you folks, what I thought was going to be a million view idea turned out to just be me playing Total War quietly on stream for about 2 hours. You know, I was really aiming for the stars thinking this is a fantastic new idea. No one's ever done it before. But much like all things in life, I live to disappoint. And this is no different. So if you're hoping for a video that stretches your imagination and pushes the limits of what Total War gameplay can be, you're not going to find that here. You're just going to find me playing as the Dwarves. But, you know, if you want to learn how to play Warhammer 2 with a controller, I'll happily teach you how, because it is actually pretty fun. And if you get carpal tunnel, then this is a good opportunity to not do that. So the first thing you need if you want to play Total War Warhammer 2 with a controller is obviously an Xbox controller. You can do it with any kind. You can get them crappy plastic ones. You can get one of the Xbox Elite wireless controllers. You just need an Xbox controller of any kind. Next, you need something called the Controller Companion app. It's in Steam. You can buy it for like less than $2. It's ridiculously cheap. You buy that or some similar product, and what that basically does is it maps the functions of a keyboard and a mouse. Now, for a game like Total War, you don't really need too many buttons. In fact, you can play the entire game using just a mouse. But I want to make it a little bit extra than that. So for my control scheme, I had the left and right clicks on A and X respectively. I had WSD on my D-pad so I could move around. I had the right bumper and the left bumper to be E and Q so I could rotate my view. And then after that, you know, you can just customize it to be whatever you want. I think I'd start to be start because I'll start to be escape so that I could access the menus. And then I also had it so the button that's next to the start button is the end turn button, or number pad enter. And that seemed to work out pretty well for me. So you set that up, you add Warhammer 2 as a program, you attach this profile to it, and then you're off to the races. It's really that easy. Now, the rest of this video is just going to show you my experience playing Total War with a controller. And as I mentioned at the start, it's actually pretty easy. You know, in the campaign, there's no real time pressure. So it wasn't like I was in the campaign and I was thinking, oh no, I really need to do this thing, but the controller stopped me. It was more like, I'm doing this thing, it's just going to take me a bit longer than usual, but I can still do it. And what that basically turned out was, it was pretty easy. You know, I auto-resolved most of my battles anyway. So for the majority of the campaign, it was pretty much that. There was a couple of battles though. The first battle was at Thundering Falls, and it's a quest battle that the dwarves get, and when you complete it, you get a runesmith. And I thought, you know, it's pretty easy. I've done this mission a bunch of times. I know exactly what's coming. So it actually did go pretty well. Ambush at Thundering Falls. Oh no, that's the quest battle. I can't. You can't auto-resolve a quest battle. I think one of the... Alright, so right trigger is control. Left trigger is control, so I would assume... Yeah, right trigger is shift. So I'm going to move these guys up here. And boom, drag them out like that. Oh shit, wait, I kind of wish I'd put these guys on the edge. Okay, well, it's fine, we'll just redo that. I'm just putting them in groups so it's organized. Okay, I'm not actually going to use groups. I don't have that. There's not that many buttons on this controller. I don't know what I'm to do. Right, look like I've fought this battle a million times, so I know what's going on. Right, we are not going to advance because I know what's going to happen. On this side, there's going to be some goblins. I don't actually want you to use your blasting charge, so you guys can move over here. Move the quarrelers in to do some shooting. And is there a way to... No, there's not a way to press spacebar. Okay, so Grombrindle's just going to go stand over there. May as well just send them all in. No harm, really, is there? See if we can fight on the goblin archers. Now, of course, while this is happening, there's also going to be a secondary attack over here. So we're just going to set up to fight against that. This one is actually going to consist of large units. So we're going to bring the brimstone guns over there. And we'll also bring the iron drakes to about there. What's Grombrindle doing? Has he got any abilities he can use? Unbreakable? Okay, maybe don't use that. Let's see if we can charge those goblin archers. And then stop firing. I know they're not really doing much. You know, they're doing something. Oh, this is horrid. Now the final the final ambush, I suppose, will come from behind us. So just need to be prepared for that. But nothing to worry about whatsoever. Don't you even worry. We may as well shoot into them because, you know, we're only going to be, quote, hitting Grombrindle. Might even send the blasting charges in to fire at that. I know it's only Wolf Riders, so they're hardly a threat to dwarves, but can't hurt. Now the enemy's going to be coming from behind. So we're going to send these two guys over there. Grombrindle over there. Blasting charge. I'm literally just like sending them over in a direction so they can do something. Just to make it look like I'm doing something, you know. The illusion of good micro. Oh shit, those guys. Speaking of which, we're not exactly what you could call beating these trolls. So I'm going to send the Iron Drakes. I know they're not the ones that have the anti-large bonus damage, but they will be just fine, I promise you. Don't you walk into them, you dumbasses. It's an idea. On guard mode. Ooh, another idea. Bombing run. This is such a waste of battle time because it is requiring all of my micro of me just side just going. Boom. Boom. Probably just attacked my own guys more than I... Oh yeah, I did. Look at those miners. Eesh. Oof, they're taking hits. Oh yeah, the trolls did not... Oh my god, the screen shake is literally making me feel sick. Oh! Stop it. Oh, you're going to start friendly firing there, so I'm going to probably stop you from doing that. Oof. Ooh, yeah, we're gonna need to replenish for a little minute. There we go. They're starting to lose now. There we go. Is that army losses? It looks like it. Hey, here it is. And that's how you win a battle using Xbox control, gamers. With a lot more casualties than you really need, but you know what? It's fine. Hey, now we're a Runesmith. I'm gonna embed him in my army because as close as I can get to a mage. Now, off this battle, it all actually goes relatively well for a dwarf campaign, especially since the greenskins are where they are right now. After the battle at Thundering Falls, I started to head north, you know, take on all the orcs are up there, get some dwarf confederations, went pretty well. I got a hold of Ungrim Iron Fist from the north, and I started to head back down south to take on Wurzag. Now, this is all going well. I was hopping from settlement to settlement, I was taking land, I was making money, I was getting a second army on the go. And then all of a sudden, I head out into this territory so that I can attack either of these settlements in the next turn. And what do you know? Wurzag is right there, and then he's got another army right there, putting me in a little pincer position so that both his armies can come get me. Now, this led to another battle that I was really worried about, and I was thinking, there's two armies here, what am I going to do? I'm going to have to do loads of micro, otherwise this isn't going to work. But then I remembered I'm playing the dwarves, and when you're playing on controller, the rules of no cheese for me really tend to go out the window. You know, I just thought, what's the best strategy that I can possibly do at this time to make sure that I get the win? So, of course, corner camping, you know, you're playing the dwarves, it's pretty much part of the course. You play the dwarves, you corner camp, it really is that simple. So I corner camped, I had two grudge throwers, two bolt throwers, and the Iron Drakes that I started with, and a bunch of dwarf warriors and Grombrindle and a Runesmith. And we just sat in the corner, waited for the enemies to come to us, and it actually went pretty well, if you ask me. I think I'm going to send him there. Oh, shit. I may have just played right into his hand. Oh, I'm going to have to fight that, aren't I? Oh, no. Oh no. Now this is an issue. They have a lot of physical resist and I don't have any magical damage. Yeah, oh god, I'm gonna have to fight this. I'm gonna have to fight this, aren't I? Right, we're gonna corner cheese because we're using a controller. And I don't care about it. Also, if you didn't notice, by the way, the picture behind me is a picture of hell because of me playing this game with a controller, but it has not honestly been that bad. I suppose we will corner camp here, but it's not the best corner because it's got this hillock. I also want every single unit on guard mode. I don't want anyone breaking rank. I also probably want Grombrindle more on the front lines. And the Rune Lord pretty much just behind him, so he can use his abilities. Oh, I'm actually nervous about this one. I do not feel good. Bombing run, here we go. That missed. Right, getting back over here. I'm actually going to get Grombrindle to help over here because it's getting a bit dicey. In fact, I'll send him to focus on... No. Oh, shit. That's not good. No, do not go in skirmish mode. There's nowhere to run. Yeah, look, there's a giant. Let's just fire all our things at it. It feels like so many of their units are so close to breaking, but just aren't. Dwarf warriors are absolute savages, man. Holy shit. Whew. Not sweating at all. Now, they did this exact same battle, like, the next turn or something ridiculous. I can't remember exactly how it was, but it was a couple of turns later they did this exact same battle. And what do you know, even with a half-dead army, I still managed to pull it off because the dwarves are really that ridiculous. After this, it was your average dwarf campaign. Things started to go wrong very quickly. You know, the greenskins, they're still pretty overpowered since, you know, they got their rework, and they haven't really been nerfed since, but, you know, I'll allow it, okay? The dwarves, they'll get their rework and they'll get their buff eventually. So I was taking greenskin helmets, they were taking some of mine back. Grimgor managed to confederate all the other orc tribes, and after that, he took his massive, overpowered army straight to my capital, at the same time that my slightly less overpowered army was at his capital, and this was a big showdown. You know, it was his army versus my garrison and my army versus his garrison, and would you believe it, he managed to absolutely steamroll my garrison, and I couldn't beat his. It was far too strong, especially a settlement battle. I would never have been able to win that with micro, so I had to just give up and settle for chasing him round. And you know, as I'm getting to the end of this, because like I only played for like a couple more turns, I think I took my capital back, maybe killed Grimgor. But as I'm getting to the end of this, I'm realizing there's not really much conclusion to this video. There's not really any payoff. There's not really any lessons learned. It just kind of ends. Now, in the end, all I did was I played Warhammer 2 in a slightly less convenient way than possible. You know, it was still very possible to play it this way. In fact, if you have problems, you know, with your hands and your fingers and, you know, capital and stuff like that, and you can comfortably use an Xbox controller but not a keyboard and mouse, then I would actually recommend that you do this because, you know, it gives you access to a fantastic game, one of my favorite games of the last few years. And it's, you know, it's very possible to do it. It's not as easy as mouse keyboard, but it's very possible. And I'm sure if you practice it, you'd be pretty good. But aside from that, this is nothing unique. You know, this isn't the million view idea I thought it would be. But, you know, it's Wednesday and this video needs to go out in 2 days. So this is what you gain. I suppose the only lesson that we can get from this is you go out there and you play Warhammer 2 and don't let anyone tell you what device you can play on. Well, that does make me think, you know, what devices could you play Warhammer 2 on? You know, like devices that are only made for very specific game types, devices that aren't really used for anything other than that very specific game or to, you know, steer that very specific vehicle. If only I had some of those lying around. Oh, wait. Oh boy. Now that is a million view idea. You know, this video is just kind of meant to be a filler video between me finishing the main guides and me getting back into, you know, videos that aren't the main guides. I know it wasn't as exciting or as infuriating as I hoped it would be, but I hope you enjoyed it nonetheless. If you do want to check out stuff like this, I've been doing it live over on Twitch every Sunday at 5 PM GMT, so you know, if you want to check it out, there will be a link in the description, or you can just head on over to twitch.tv/ColonelDamneders. That's twitch.tv/ColonelDamneders. We've only done like 3 exclusive to Twitch streams, and we've already hit like nearly 100 followers, so that's pretty incredible. So if you wouldn't mind heading over to there and keep up to date with all of my streams, because it really does mean the world to me when there's plenty of you in there to talk to. Otherwise, it's just me talking to myself, playing games. And last time I did that, they took me to the mental institution. The Wood Elf Guide is next in the works. We've got 2 other videos before that in my plan. And if I stick to my plan, then you should have some interesting videos in the next couple of weeks building up to the Wood Elves Guide, which I'm very excited for because the Wood Elves are in a very good spot and I'm enjoying them quite a lot. So be sure to subscribe if you want to keep up to date with all of that. Thank you for all the support on the channel in this new year. You know, we've only 4 videos in at this point. Our channel's doing really well. Let's make 2021 an epic year. Guys, thank you very much and goodbye.